In the first proper game day Saturday inside Camp Randall Stadium in a long time. Longer than you'd expect. I'm going to get into that too. But I got four Middle Tennessee players that I have my eyes on because I think how Wisconsin handles those players will tell me a lot about the Badgers moving forward this season. It is Talkin Badgers, powered by BadgerNotes.com. I'm your host, Kedrick Stumbris. You can find the podcast, youtube.com/@TalkinBadgers, and on the website formerly known as Twitter @TalkinBadgers. We're here. It is Friday, September 5th. It's 6:55 p.m. Clock just ticked, which means that it's less than 12 hours from now. There will be a result to a football game played on a Saturday inside Camp Randall Stadium. It's been a really long time, longer than usual, because although this is, a 12-week season for a sport that we cover 365 days a year, it's still been even longer than usual to get back to a regular college football game day Saturday in Madison. The season opener this year was on a Thursday. I think I have implied several times over on this program what I think about that. They played the season finale at home against Minnesota on Black Friday, that being a record cold day inside Camp Randall Stadium. The other game before that was in Lincoln, and then you have to go all the way back to November 16th against the Oregon Ducks. November 16th, 292 days ago, will be 293 days ago. If you're counting the hours, it's like almost another, full 24 hours after that too, because that was a late kickoff as well. It's quite a long time since fans have been treated to the football team inside Camp Randall Stadium, and even longer than that since fans have seen a win on a Saturday. It was a lot just to get a win against Middle Tennessee, just to let fans see a win at home. And some of this, of course, is a little borne out by the schedule of last year from 2024. Wisconsin only played 4 Big Ten home games and 5 Big Ten home games on the road, which meant that down the stretch of the season, after Wisconsin won road contests against Rutgers and Northwestern, they played 5 more games and didn't win again. Wisconsin's last win at home on a Saturday will be over 11 months prior to this game being played tomorrow, because it's 11 months to the day today as we are recording this on Friday. 11 months ago, October 5th, that 52-6 barn burner that 52-6 drubbing of the Purdue Boilermakers was the last time Wisconsin won a game at home on a Saturday. Boy, oh boy, were the emotions different surrounding this program at that time. Yes, Wisconsin was coming off of back-to-back losses to Alabama and USC. The USC game, something of a disastrous performance as well. But that was something of okay, maybe Braden Locke can get it together here. That was the Trech Kekahuna coming out party. Two touchdowns in that game. And I am ready to see this football team win a game on a proper game day Saturday inside Camp Randall. Just really got me thinking about where this program was, where the conversation around this program was 11 full months ago, especially because I was at that game. I was covering that game. Feels like an absolute lifetime ago. But if Wisconsin is going to get the win on Saturday, they need to focus on 4 Middle Tennessee players. We're going to tell you about those next. Those 4 players include their quarterback. Middle Tennessee has one of the most experienced starting quarterbacks in college football. Again, yes, we talked about Taquan Finn, who has the most or the second most touchdowns of any active starting quarterback in college football as well. But among quarterbacks in college football, there's not many that have played more games more often than Middle Tennessee starting quarterback Nicholas Vadiato. Vadiato is trying to come in and get the Blue Raiders on the right side of the page after a pretty disastrous performance, of course, in week 1 against Austin Peay. Also, kind of odd. Wisconsin and Middle Tennessee have never played in men's basketball, never played in football, nothing. Middle Tennessee's never played a game in Wisconsin. Very, very strange. These two programs have just no history against each other whatsoever. But Vadiato comes into this game, and he is 4th all-time in Middle Tennessee passing yards history with 222 yards. He could become the 3rd leading passer in Middle Tennessee history. I don't know how likely that is. He has averaged 231 yards per game for his career, but it's something like in the 172-ish range in 5 goes at it against a high major opponent. So I don't think that's likely to happen, but could see history as he's trying to pass the record books. And this is a quarterback that Middle Tennessee fans are really familiar with. This is a really experienced quarterback, someone who has provided really steady football for those fans. He is in the top 4 all-time in basically every major statistical category for a quarterback in the history of that program. He has the 3rd most passing attempts in program history. He has the 2nd most completions in program history. He has the 4th most yards in program history, and he has the 4th most passing touchdowns in program history with 48. Let alone that, he's just seen a ton of football from here to there. He has started 25 consecutive games. He is in his 3rd consecutive year as the full-time starter at this program. There is only one other quarterback in the country who has recorded at least a single start in more consecutive seasons than Vadiato has. Vadiato has recorded at least 1 start every year dating back to 2021. He started a few games in 2021, in 22, 23, 24, now 25. The only quarterback who can date that journey back further is Jalen Daniels in Lawrence, Kansas, who also started, I think it was 3 games in 2020. That a guy being offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes is pretty familiar with. Vadiato's consistent. He's really consistent. He's not a guy who's going to beat you with his legs. He can run, but really he's much more of a pocket passer, which is why I am interested in how Wisconsin manages to defend him as a quarterback. It's going to tell me 2 different things. It's going to tell me, one, like, are we going to see these corner blitzes again from Mike Tressel that we talked about on the show with Seamus yesterday? Or were those a particular feature of trying to defend DeQuan Finn? Were those a particular feature against a more mobile quarterback? Or are we going to see some more blitzes, something a little bit more exotic that you can put on tape and challenge your defensive front to do against a quarterback that you should be able to bring down a little bit easier? They pressured DeQuan Finn, Wisconsin's defensive front did, a lot in that opening game, but only brought him down 3 times. I think this is a game in which you want to see the defensive front finish, get to the quarterback, put an end to it. That passing ability too, perhaps more of a regular passing ability, maybe that teaches us a little bit more about the defensive backs. I'm not totally sure. I'm really not totally certain, but I think it will tell us about Wisconsin's pass rush ability. The second player that I want to see Wisconsin keep their eyes on, and also someone I'm just fascinated with in his story, is safety Brendan Harris. Brendan Harris is in his, wait for it, 8th year of college football. 8 seasons of college football for safety Brendan Harris. This is a man at the back of the defense. Look, Wisconsin's got a man at the back of the defense in Preston Zachman, who has seen a lot of football himself, but it's not 8 years worth. It's not 8 years worth like Brendan Harris has. And there are these guys who they just pop up, and when you dig into it, it doesn't seem as absurd. It's that COVID year. That COVID year is going to keep rearing its head as a way in which this so happens. Middle Tennessee also has a seventh year player on the roster, not to mention a starting quarterback who is in his 5th season of college football, of course. But safety Brendan Harris, This is how you get to eight years of college football. He starts in Vandy, which Vandy, keep that in mind. We're going to come back around to that at the end when we get to the Middle Tennessee portion. Brendan Harris started at Vandy in 2018. In 2018, he played his first year of college football, where he appeared in 4 games. He was originally a Tennessee commit. Like, this was a guy who was a fairly heralded recruit. Now he's hanging out in year 8 in Middle Tennessee, down there in Murfreesboro. He started at Vandy in 18. He redshirted after playing only 4 games. He played in 19. Then you get to 2020. That's COVID year. Doesn't count for anything, right? So if you're counting along at home, maybe I'll do it on my fingers on the screen. We're through 3 years of college football, and he has burned 1 year of eligibility. Okay. Then he plays in 21. That's a second year of eligibility gone. And Brendan Harris decides to transfer. The head coach of that program got fired at the end of the 2020 season. Then he transfers over to Wake Forest, another high academic program, another good school. Coming around, he has an undergraduate degree from Vanderbilt after playing 4 years of college football, but he's only used 2 years of eligibility. He hangs out at Wake, plays in 12 games the first year that he's there, and then 2 games into his second season, which would be his final year of eligibility, he gets injured. He doesn't come back the rest of the year. He decides he gets the medical redshirt waiver, and he wants to go and reunite with the original head coach who recruited him to Vanderbilt as part of the 2018 class. He joins him in 2023 at Middle Tennessee. It is Derek Mason. Derek Mason and Brendan Harris reunite in Middle Tennessee in 2023 for Harris's second attempt at using his final year of eligibility. And he gets injured again 2 games into the season. So this is now Harris's 3rd attempt at using his final year of eligibility. Oh, wow. His 3rd attempt at using his final year of eligibility. He has used a redshirt season. He has used a COVID season, 2 medical waivers in the middle of it. Oh, wow. So he's back there and is going to be a defender that this defense can rely on. He's going to know the playbook inside and out. He's going to chart all the tables as he pursues his MBA. And if Danny O'Neil is going to connect on some of these deep shots, he's going to have to keep an eye out for a very experienced guy like a Brendan Harris. See, we brought it all the way back around from the absurdity of it all to the football of it all. And that's what I want to see. I want to see Danny O'Neil complete some deep shots down the field, not only because it will give, fans some renewed faith in Danny O'Neil moving forward, but also because it should give some faith in the scheme's ability to dial up some of those off of play action in particular, and provide proof of concept for the remainder of the season as you get into the more difficult stretches on the schedule. That's what I think Brendan Harris and the challenge that he presents is going to be very good for. Then there is a player far less experienced than Brendan Harris, that being Jacquel Middlebrook. Jacquel Middlebrook is one of 7 running backs on this roster of Middle Tennessee, and none of them have burned more than 1 year of eligibility. 7 running backs, and Jacquel Middlebrook is among one of 2 or 3 guys who are redshirt sophomores. That's the most experienced players in that running back group. Now, that's not to detract from them on face, right? Wisconsin itself, there is Katie Akameli there, but otherwise it is a fairly inexperienced running back room between Dylan Jones, Darian Dupree, and Gideon Atuka. Middlebrook had a solid freshman season, redshirt freshman season. He appeared in 4 games as a true freshman. And then as a redshirt freshman, he amassed 4.6 yards per carry. Looks really good. Got himself on the Conference USA all-freshman team. He's now on the Conference USA preseason watch list. There are guys on this team who have real preseason accolades. Like, it's not just a Jacquel Middlebrook, right? Vadiato is on the Manning Award watch list. He's on the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm watch list. And Middlebrook is on this watch list for the CUSA as well. He should be a player that challenges Wisconsin's run defense, which is, as we mentioned, all through the offseason and into camp. That's what you got to see this defense be able to stop. So what you need is that defensive front, prove that you have a pass rush, finish your sacks in this game, and also be sure that you can stop the run from a running back who has some ability to carry the ball. In 2024, 4.6 yards per attempt on 60 attempts. He's now going to be asked to carry more of the load. He is the number one guy on the depth chart. And he's good. Like, he's good. He can make a cut and get off the edge. He is also their punt returner. So he has a real burst of speed. What Wisconsin can do in this game is prove that they can keep up with a guy like that who has a real burst of speed on the edge. I think Wisconsin has the ability to do that, to stop a guy like that, if not at the first level, at the very least through the second level. If they're going to run off tackle and challenge Wisconsin's outside linebackers, challenge Wisconsin's linebackers otherwise, if they go inside to plug holes, to plug gaps, I think guys like Tackett Curtis, like Sebastian Cheeks, like Christian Allegro, I think they have the speed to stop a running back like this who really does have some natural talent, but we need to see real proof of it. How much is Middle going to run in this game? If they're going to fall behind quickly, I don't know. But I think it is worth watching through the first half, maybe the first quarter, to see, do they make the run not even an option? Do they make Vadiato beat Wisconsin through the air and really challenge him? Challenge the young running back, challenge the veteran quarterback to beat you with the arm through the air. That's what I want to see. The last guy on Middle Tennessee's roster that I want to see Wisconsin do something about, and who I think is a really big piece of the Middle Tennessee defense, is Damonte Smith. Damonte Smith, they play an even front defense. He plays defensive tackle, got an interior guy. Is Wisconsin going to be able to run against a front like this? This is a small defensive front. He's like 300 pounds, like that's it. And he weighs the most of any guy in their defensive rotation. That's it. They don't have 300-pound guys. There's one defensive lineman on this Middle Tennessee roster. He's a redshirt freshman who weighs 340 pounds, according to this. What is this guy's name? Archie Roseman. I think Archie Roseman the fifth. Nose tackle, 340 pounds. We're talking about names, name guys, nickname guys on the After Dark show earlier this week. 340-pound nose tackle, Archie Roseman the fifth. That'd be up there. That'd be up there. It's a pretty dang good name, but I don't think we're going to see Archie Roseman the fifth in this game. He did not see the field against Austin Peay in week 1. But Damonte Smith, he is the centerpiece of the defensive line for Middle Tennessee, for Derek Mason. He had a really, really great year in 2024. It was the first year that he got to play as a full starting piece. He weaned into the rotation more in 2023. He did play in 22, but got hurt in 23. So we didn't really get to see his development 2 seasons ago. So there's really only one jump to go off of, is 2022 to 2024. And he did jump up in 2024, had career highs in tackles, solo tackles, tackles for loss, and sacks. But the thing is, he has 6 tackles for loss in his career. He had 2.5 tackles for loss against Austin Peay. That's a tough push-pull. Small sample size, had a really big day comparatively to what he has done in the past. It was against an FCS opponent, but he was an FCS opponent that kind of ate their lunch. But like I said, it's not like Austin Peay had a whole ton of offense in that game. So it is hard to tell. What you want to see, though, is Wisconsin's offensive line handle a guy like that. Handle the defensive front that is a defensive front that Wisconsin should handle. Particularly, you need to see that because they are going to be moving personnel around on this offensive line in this game. How should I put this? If Davis Heinzen is starting at left tackle in this game, which I am not 100% convinced he will be, I do not believe we are seeing Davis Heinzen for 60 minutes. And not because of whatever he puts on the field. I think because I do not believe the plan in this game is to play Davis Heinzen for 60 minutes. I feel like that cannot be the plan after everything we have seen and heard this past week. So what does it look like when Wisconsin shuffles that offensive line? What does it look like if Kerry Kadenko, who was a little bit banged up in camp, what does he do on the interior? If it's not Kerry Kadenko, because he's been a little banged up, because you want to preserve him for if you need him at center, what does it look like if Colin Coverley steps up? What does that look like? What does it look like if that means Colin Coverley steps up on the interior? You've kicked Mandel, redshirt freshman, out to tackle. What does that mean? What does any one of these combinations look like? And the interior needs to be better. Of course, Wisconsin had issues on the outside with Davis Heinzen getting burned by Adam Trick over and over and over again last Thursday. But your interior starts to get young, potentially, starts to get inexperienced on that right side of the line. You know, I guess not the interior, but I mean the right side of that line gets inexperienced really quickly. If, for example, they plug into Colin Coverley, and then you have Mandel at right tackle. And that means Riley Mahlman is over at left. I don't know. There's a lot of different combinations that could happen here. Or a JP Benchwall, who's not technically your starter, but has played a lot. He's not technically a young guy. What does it all mean? What does it all mean? I need to see it. And I think that creates, knowing there is at least one guy on the defensive line for Middle Tennessee who should provide something of a challenge. That means that's what I'm going to be watching for. Look, like I've mentioned throughout the show this week, there is not a lot to see on tape in this game. I don't think. We do have to try to take things away, though. We have to do our best to say, where are the pressure points on this roster and evaluate. That's what we're going to be doing. That's what we're going to be doing here. That's what we're going to be doing on Talkin Badgers. Finally, tomorrow, we're going to be here. We're going to have a live reaction show. We're going to be in the live chat inside Bucky's Burrow. You can join that. Click the link in the show description. Join Bucky's Burrow for a free live chat. Super great to partner with our message board partners at Bucky's Burrow. We'll be in there talking about the game. Fans will be in there talking about their feelings. And we'll be coming right back here as soon as it's done. Hit the live show. Presumably not just me. We'll have some other guys coming in here. I know Dylan's going to be at the game covering on site for BadgerNotes.com. Now, if we go, then it's Alabama week. That buzzer hits, and it becomes what I'm sure will feel like a very, very, very fast turnaround on this schedule where things get very, very, very real, very, very, very fast. So that is what I am watching tomorrow during this game. I'm going to keep my eyes on Nick Vadiato, Brendan Harris, Jacquel Middlebrook, and Damonte Smith. It's going to tell me a lot about, I still don't know how much we're going to learn about Wisconsin's defensive backs, but we're at the very least going to learn some about Danny O'Neal, how those receivers can navigate downfield. We're going to learn about Wisconsin's defensive line. We're going to learn about Wisconsin's linebackers, and off we go to see Wisconsin play the Alabama Crimson Tide. For all of us at BadgerNotes.com, this has been Talkin Badgers, a daily Wisconsin Badgers podcast. I've been your host, Kendrick Sobris, and you can follow the show, youtube.com/@TalkinBadgers. Subscribe for free there. You can also follow on the website formerly known as Twitter @TalkinBadgers. Subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified as soon as we go live after the game tomorrow, around 6:30. Until we talk to you all again on Wisconsin.